Hey everyone, welcome back to the KB Cabinet channel. My name is Rob and it's December 23. It's almost Christmas, and in Northwest Arkansas it is very cold outside. A little bit of snow. I hope all you guys are safe out there wherever you're watching from. I know there's storms coming through. I was asked a question on what CAD software I used, and I was thinking about it, and I thought I would make a short video kind of going over my workflow, as well as talking about some of my, I guess, goals for what I want to do with this channel going into the new year. So we're going to first take a look at cabinet vision. So this is hexagon cabinet vision. This is what I use 99% of the time. Everything that I can't do in cabinet vision, I do in VCarve. And that's why I like doing tutorials in VCarve. Not a pro at VCarve. There's a lot I got to learn, but I do love it. So if we take a look at cabinet vision, this is what you see when you start up, and up here this is all my back end parameters. And one thing to know about CAD, any type of CAD, is that there is or can be quite an extensive setup process on the back end to get all your parameters sorted out, so that way when you start building your jobs everything is right. So a large part of this program is getting everything, whether it's my materials or construction methods, all the way from machine tooling to CNC information. That all has to be set up. So once you get all that set up, then this is a very, I would say it's a relatively simple program to use. I've never used Mosaic or Cabinet Sense. I've heard good things about him, so I'm definitely going to look into him. But if we take a look, if I build a new, if I start a new project, I'm just going to name it test. Here you can input some information about the job. I don't mess with any of that. If I go down to room, this is where, say if I'm starting with the kitchen, this is the name of the very first room you load into. So you can add as many rooms as you want. This just gets you started. Under layout, I can set the wall thickness of the actual sheetrocked walls. You have your ceiling height here and then your soffit here. So whatever you set here, it just allows the cabinet to place them instantly on the wall with the correct measurements, just to save you some time. But all these you can adjust once it's done. If we take a look at the cabinet tab, here we're going to have some settings that are, so these are all set up on the back end. So these are going to vary based on, cabinet shop to cabinet shop. So, when you select this, it's going to have all the information that I've pre-selected. Same with materials. These is all set up in the back end. Hardware, it's all going to be done in the back end, and then your doors, right? So then if I hit OK, if I like it, it's going to bring me into my main screen. And from here, to get started, you just go to walls. You just draw some walls, and under my catalog, here's where I can access all. It's a library that I've made. If I want a B27, you can just start dragging them on the wall and building them out. And then you can go in and do some sub-level editing, but I'm not going to get too deep into it. But what I will do is let's pull up a job. So that way you can kind of see a complete job. And then I'm going to go over, why this particular program is so important to me, or to our workflow. So here you can see these are all my rooms. I've got bathroom, bath 2, master bath. Let's take a look at the master bath. So these are already built out. And we went out and took field measurements, so that's how we have all that. Over here you can do 3D, your reports. You can break down all your reports based on individual parts and things, or cabinets. But what really makes this program an invaluable asset for me is right here. It's this feature called Screen. It's S2M, and it stands for Screen to Machine. So if we go into Screen to Machine, what it's going to do is it's going to analyze all the different parts in my job into one section. Takes a little bit to load. It's probably because it's cold outside. Loading. You get some background music to put in. All right, we're loaded in. All right, so you can see here. So this is all. I mean, the entire job. So floor, bat, unfinished right in, left in. So if I come over here to filter parts, I can begin to filter either based on room. I can filter out room. So if I go to kitchen, it's going to select only cabinets that are in the kitchen. And then I can filter on or remove, stuff like that. But what really makes this powerful, so if let's say I'm just gonna select a few things here. So if I select all these parts, and let's say I want to quickly get them out to the CNC machine, I go to optimize, and I'm going to run the optimization, and what it's doing is I'm telling it that all the like materials, I want you to optimize this on 4x8 sheets of plywood. So as it's doing its thing, I'll give it a second. You better not respond. They'll throw you out in the cold tonight. All right. That's not what I wanted. There we go. Okay, so it's going to tell me over here that of 1/2 inch birch, I need 22 sheets. I can go in and I can see what it's doing and how it chose to optimize it. And it generally does a really good job. If you have a lot of parts, it's better. Towards the end, you're going to end up with more waste. It's just kind of the natural. Like something like this, I wouldn't, unless I was desperate, I would have my guy cut this out of scrap. So can't get everything 100% all the time. But one thing that this does allow is, like, if I draw out a job, I can go in here and I can do the screen to machine. I can see exactly how much wood I'm going to use, so I can help kind of control my cost or figure my projected cost for the job. But once I get it down to where I can go here and I can generate code. I write the name. I'm not going to do it. I've already generated this code, but basically, so I fill in the name and I'd hit run, and it's going to generate the code. Next, I'm going to come to my reports, and I'm going to go to pattern sheets. Everything's wanting to go slow today. All right, I will print out these for my CNC operator, and he will have a page that represents one sheet of plywood. It's going to have the graphic. It's going to break it. It's going to number it, and it's going to tell him what it is. And then I've got my code down here that it's going to look for. We don't have a labeler. We tried that in the past. I don't know, it just didn't seem to work for us. So we do it by hand, but I'm kind of debating maybe looking back to towards the automatic labeler. So if any of you guys out there do use automatic labels, sorry, let me know how that works, because I'm curious. So once I get that generated, one thing that well, I'll touch on that here in a second. So it's going to throw my code into this file that I have pre-set up. And what I would do is we'll just pick a random one, but let's say, I think it was this one. The code won't match up because I've already generated it, but it's going to generate a list of code that should match the papers that I printed out. From there, I literally just copy them and I paste them into my machines. I got 2 machines hooked to this. I won't be able to access them tonight because I'm at home and the machines have to be on to actually send them in. But that's it. I just give them the piece of paper and I say, hey, look, run this code. One thing about cabinet vision, about the screen to machine feature, is that if we go, let's go back to let's go to here. Let's find one. Yeah, here. It has a very powerful machining simulation feature. If any of you guys have familiar with CAD programs like SolidWorks, they have accurate, physically accurate machining. When VCarve does its little 3D view of like what it's doing, this is very different. This is physically accurate, and I can go in and I can actually make machining adjustments inside the program that, as long as it's right in the simulation, it's going to be right on the outside. And I recently used this to do a door profile with a new inner profile on our MDF doors, and I was able to do all the adjustments inside of inside of Cabinet Vision, and instead of running it to testing it out on the machine, I would just run the simulation, if that makes sense. So overall, that's our workflow. It's been pretty good to us. So if any of you guys have any questions on Cabinet Vision or anything that I went over, I know it's kind of a 30,000 foot flyover, because you can get way into this, be many videos, hours long. But one thing I quickly wanted to maybe talk about is, I'm a new channel. Been doing video and different things in video throughout the years, but I grew up in cabinetry. My father started the business, and then I've kind of come up. This program, I have a tech that I work with, and I have to pay him $400 an hour to go over all this, make all these changes, and I've spent lots of hours with him over 2022. Whether how to size for drawer guides and all this hardware. So I've spent a lot of money tweaking this, and I feel like I have kind of accumulated, a sizable amount of knowledge that I can maybe start sharing for free, so it could hopefully be a help to people that are out there. Because there's a lot to cabinet making. It's when doing it a while, you're like, it's really not that bad. It's not that hard. But it's the initial, learning how to do things initially, the math, how to size things, or just the fundamentals of how to go about it. I think is very important, and so that's what I want to focus on going into the new year. And you guys need to let me know if that's something that would help or be a benefit to you guys. If not, I can go a different direction. But I'm just trying to, I guess, use my go in a direction where I can use the knowledge that I've accumulated to help solve some problems that maybe you guys have out there. In closing, I will say that this program is it's powerful. It is as it is. I love programs like VCarve. They're simple. You can get started right away, and there are limitations that these big CAD programs have that you can use the simple programs to kind of get around. So I think they're very important. They have, you don't need, like, or how do I want to phrase it? They go hand in hand. You have your main way of doing things, and then it's nice to have a simple way of doing things that has no rules to it, no restraints, I guess, so to speak. If some of you guys worked in CAD, you've got constraints and all these things you got to work around. Sometimes it's nice to just get in and have the freedom to do whatever the heck you want, without warnings and all this stuff. So I do think basically what I was getting at is I like VCarve very much, and I think it is definitely going to be part of my workflow. If you guys saw in my video earlier about the wood hoods, I do all my wood hoods out of VCarve. I just recycle the program, and it might seem nutty, but it's been working out great for me. So anyways, I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys in the next videos, and be safe out there.